Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you an example of how to improve SEO based on a website that I found just doing a quick Google search. I came across and I thought this would make a really good example of how you can actually improve your own SEO and rank higher by doing some of these things in this video. So basically I just typed in a keyword which was Plumber Sydney, and I just scrolled down to page 2 to see who's on page 2 and why, and see if they could do anything to improve based on what I found. And so I found these guys, Reactive Plumbing, and so all I did is I clicked on the website to have a look around the website, see what's going on and see how they could actually improve their SEO. So the first thing I noticed is that the page that's ranking for the keyword Plumber Sydney on page 2 is the home page, right? But if we take a look at the meta title, I'll just drop this down here. You can see here that there's no mention of the keyword Sydney anywhere in this headline. And now if we go back to Google, you can see also here, there's no keyword Sydney. So they have this page that's ranking for one of the main keywords that somebody searches to find a business like this, which is Plumber Sydney, and they don't have the keyword in the meta title. And so that gives you an example of exactly why this is so important of having the correct keyword in there, because as you can see, this will be one of the reasons they're not on page 1, but they're on page 2. And they're that close to getting these leads that they're missing out on simply because of that and a few other things, but that's one of the things. So now if we go back to the website, we start poking around. So the first thing I typically do when I'm doing an audit is I'll take the URL and I'll throw it into SEMrush. And then that's going to give me a overview of what's happening with this website. So if you guys don't have SEMrush, you're trying to do SEO, I highly recommend you get SEMrush, or at least a tool like SEMrush. I personally like SEMrush and I use it, which is why I highly recommend it. If you want to get it, my affiliate link is in the description below, and you can get 7-day free trial if you click that link. So basically what I do is I take the URL and I throw it into SEMrush and just see what's going on. So if we take a look here, set it to Australia because it's in Australia, you can see that these guys are getting fairly decent amount of traffic, at least according to the SEMrush's estimate, which is about 800 users a month, give or take, and they rank for about 1,500 keywords. So that's pretty good, but they're on page 2 for that main keyword, right? What I typically do is I'll open up the keyword list and I'll have a look at what's going on here. So we can see here that if we sort by where they're actually ranking, which is now sorted by position, you can see that a lot of these keywords they rank for are very low volume keywords. This one's pretty good, but it's a brand name, which also tells us that a good chunk of their traffic is actually coming from the brand name keyword, Reactive Plumbing. You can see there's 480 users, and you can almost guarantee that almost all these people are going to click the link. So like good half of their traffic is coming from a brand name, which means that they're probably only getting about 400 users a month estimated off actual keywords, which is actually not that much. So if we scroll down, we can see why. You can see Reactive Plumbing Reviews is another one. Now they do rank for a couple other keywords in some of these SERP features as well as up there, but they're all quite low volume keywords. And so now if we go and sort by volume, we can now take a look and see where they are for the high volume keywords. You can see, for example, Plumber, they're in position 45 and it's ranking for a suburb page. So this is usually a red flag that there's something going on with this website that's not been done properly when a page like this is ranking for a main keyword. And so what's probably happening is we can open this page and have a quick look. I bet you that their internal linking is not good, among other things. So if we take a look at this page, you can see that they've got the main headline Plumber in Castle Hill, so that's fine. But what you have to remember here is that they probably have a bunch of other pages as well for different suburbs, which means that all of these pages are probably competing and cannibalizing each other for that main keyword along with the main page. Now if we go down, let's see if we can find any internal links. So far I'm not seeing any internal links. And that is a big problem when it comes to SEO. Okay, so they do have a couple of links here. They got some to the toilet page. They've got some to the drain clearing. This is going though to the specific area, as you can see in the URL. So what's happening is their main keyword toilets is linking to the toilet repair page for Castle Hill specifically. And that is tricky given the context. You do risk what's going on here, which is the wrong page is ranking like this, by doing something like that. You have to be really careful with what keywords you're internal linking to where, and I think that might be causing them a bit of this problem. But we can see here that there's actually no internal link for the keyword plumber or anything to do with plumber to the main plumber page. And so what's happening here is that Google is not being told this isn't the main page for that keyword, this other one is, and so that's why this is happening. Now again, I'd be willing to bet you that they probably have several pages cannibalizing each other and ranking in some low positions for this keyword because of this issue. Now anyway, if we keep going, we might actually come across across this later. We'll see if there's a higher position somewhere else. But we can see plumbing and plumber is okay. That ranks high. Heat pump hot water system, they've got a specific page for that. But it's interesting that they have a specific page for that, and yet they're number 97. They should be much higher up for this keyword, especially if they have the specific page, given that they have a page but they're not. And so I would wager that that's probably something to do with the internal linking as well. We can keep going down. Emergency plumber 69. So you can see all these extremely high volume keywords that they're not actually ranking for that we can see here. Now Plumber Sydney, they're number 96, and they have a keyword Plumber Sydney, and here's a problem. So they have a page for Plumber Sydney and their homepage ranks for Plumber Sydney, and you can see that here as well. Plumber Sydney is number 13. And so a big issue they have here is that these two pages are cannibalizing each other. And so what's happening is Google doesn't know which one is more relevant, and so it's ranking both, but the main one that it's ranking is not ranking as high as it should be. And so this page is not doing any favors at all because the main page is ranking. Now, I think the reason why they don't have the keyword Sydney on the homepage is because they've been trying to fix this, but the problem you have is that because this is already ranking, doing this is just like you're trying to fix it, but it usually doesn't work out because Google's already decided that this is the most relevant page. And so it's very hard to convince Google that once they've decided a page is the most relevant to now change that. And so doing it this way, the issue you have here is that it's just cannibalizing and it's not going to rank. And so if we open that specific Plumber Sydney page, you can see, yeah, they're targeting the specific keyword Plumber Sydney. They're doing it with the URL as well. But what I'm willing to bet here is that there's no internal link from this page to the homepage for the main keyword. And so, yeah, there's no internal links at all by the looks of it. So that's why you can see that. So that's a major issue in itself there as well, where you've got the keywords cannibalizing each other because of these two pages. Nothing's internal linking to anywhere else. And as a result, they're not ranking even on page 1 when they really should be for a keyword like this. They would get a lot more traffic. Now we can go down and see a few more of these things. Yeah, emergency plumber number 94, block drain Sydney number 37. They should really be on page 1 for that as well. So let's take a look at that page, block drain Sydney. We can see here there's no internal links to this either. It seems like internal linking is a big issue with this website, and that's probably causing them a lot of the big problems because they're not internal linking to anything. However, there's probably bigger issues than this at hand, and so what we can start doing now is digging further, because I think you get the idea with the keywords. So another thing I would start looking at is what's their authority score and their backlinks. And so the authority score is low. It's kind of okay for local Australian business. That's not too bad. Like, you don't need a particularly high one, like in that market, in my experience anyway, but it could be a bit higher. But now what I would want to look at is what is going on the actual website, specifically with the blog. And so one thing I would start looking at is how they've structured their pages. So let's say, for instance, instant hot water systems. Does that link back to the main hot water system page? Probably not, looking at the internal linking that we've seen already. It links down with these buttons to the lower sections, but it doesn't link back up. And so you can see they have an internal linking issue on this page, and that's probably one of their biggest problems. So we can basically write that, off as one of the reasons they're not ranking as high as they could be. Now, what I would also look at is the blog. And let's take a look at the blog and see how many pages they actually rank for, how many blogs they have on any particular topic. Now, first of all, the last blog they ever posted was on February the 2nd, so that's not a good sign in itself. And then before that, December 21st. So it looks like whoever's doing the SEO on the site's only posting one blog a month, which you can get away with, but it's a slow way of doing it, and it'll take a long time. But anyway, before that, you can see here, it's just like no posts from February to September. So that's not a lot of content here. So they've only got 2 pages of blogs here as well. So basically what's happening here is that they have not established enough topical authority for the topics they're trying to rank for, because they've only got a couple of blogs, as we can see here. Then they haven't internal linked correctly between all of their topics. And so the problem you have there is you've got the keyword cannibalization we've seen as well, and Google doesn't know which page is the most relevant for which keyword. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Screaming Frog, and I'm going to throw this in and let it run a quick audit. So if you don't have Screaming Frog, I highly recommend you go get it. I'll put a link in the description below. You can use the free version, it does up to 500 URLs, and basically it'll just scan the website and just do like a technical SEO audit of it, which I'll show you here. So we've got Screaming Frog open. You would just throw the URL in and hit start, and now it's just going to scan the first 500 URLs that it picks up and see what's going on. So this, what I'm showing you in this video, is just a quick example of an audit that you can do without having to have access to the internal website. So you don't have to necessarily get access from the person, or if you want to audit someone else's website and then shoot them a video or whatever, this is the process that I would go through to just check out what's going on, find a few quick wins and a few obvious things you can point out. So So if we go down, let's see what this has picked up. So pages without internal links. So there's a few pages with no, okay, so that one's not really relevant. It's still scanning, so we can let this thing scan, see what happens. That's fine. There's obviously a landing page. So a lot of page titles that are too long, which is typically a sign that it's not been correctly optimized. It's not necessarily a big issue, but it's something to keep in mind. What I have noticed is they have a lot of these suburb pages, and I know a lot of people do that, and that can work, but typically when they do that, they cause more problems. You have to be very careful in making a lot of these suburb pages to not cannibalize the main pages, and especially when you don't have proper internal linking, like in this case, they're probably causing more harm than good. Now if we take a look at some of these other ones, yeah, so a couple of page titles are too long, the meta titles, so that can be corrected. It won't necessarily cause a major issue in its own, but it's something to keep in mind. See low content pages, seems to be a lot of random internal links here. These could be menu though. Alt text missing on images, 83, that should probably be corrected, although I'm assuming they probably have more images than that, but it's still something that can be corrected. Duplicate H2s, which is not a good sign, and having duplicate H2s, that's definitely something that should be corrected, because that'll help you take care of more keywords and reduce duplicate content as well. So now multiple H2s, I wouldn't say that's an issue. So this is just an example of what Screaming Frog will throw out. I can tell you if there's any technical issues. So they don't have any super serious issues. So it seems like it's very small stuff like not building enough topical authority, not building enough internal links with the correct anchor text, having a lot of those suburb pages, which can work, but if they're not internal linked correctly, they'll cause cannibalization, as we have pointed out in this video. Now, one last thing I want to do for this video is I'm going to take the URL and I'm just going to go on Google and I'm going to type in search : and then put the URL and just see how many pages they actually have. So they've got about 212 pages that are actually indexed by Google, and you can go down this list and see what pages they actually are. So you can see a lot of them will be these suburb pages. Now, one thing, if you've got these suburb pages, that I would recommend checking out is open them all and see, is this content actually unique? A lot of people just literally copy paste the content from one page to the next, and that is something you definitely do not want to do if you are doing these pages. So let's take a look. Okay, so at least they have rewritten the content. This one's different as well. Yeah, okay, so they have rewritten the content or used AI or whatever, it doesn't really matter, to do these pages. And okay, so that's, at least they don't have duplicate content. But basically we can see here that most of the pages here are those suburb pages. Okay, so we've uncovered obviously a couple of SEO issues within this video, and some of them would probably make a very big difference if they fix them, especially the internal links and the topical relevance. So from here, my immediate recommendations on this particular website would be to focus the keywords on the pages that are ranking and not trying to make other pages rank for the keyword that's already on page 2. You may as well capitalize on the one that's there. I would fix all of the internal linking across the entire website and make sure it's consistent. Everything goes to the right pages, the correct anchor text, which is extremely important, which is going to help Google see what's going on. I would also focus on building up much more authority with the blogs. That is a very big opportunity that they're nowhere near capitalizing on how they could be, to establish a lot more authority within these particular topics, whether it's plumbing, hot water cylinders, or water heaters, or whatever else they want to do. And that will help rank for a lot more keywords, get a lot more traffic, and rank higher for the main keywords. Now, the very last thing I'm just going to check before we finish this video is just see if they have a sitemap, because that's also another technical issue that they should have. So they do have a sitemap. This is another way you can pull out what pages they have. Yeah, you can see here they have a lot of pages, and most of them are the area pages, as we have found. So they got some Gold Coast pages as well. So they do have a sitemap. This is another way you can skim through these URLs and take a look and see how many pages or what pages they have. But yeah, you can see here they don't have a lot of blogs. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. I wanted to show you this, as I thought this was a really good example of a website that is doing SEO, but there are things that can be corrected, which would make a pretty big difference if they corrected them and did these properly, because then they would more than likely be on page 1 as a result and get a lot more traffic. They're so close to getting traffic for some main keywords, but because they've done these things wrong that I've showed you in this video, they're not there yet. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you would like me to audit a specific website, whether it's yours or somebody else's, just put it in the comments below. I'm going to be making more of these videos, so I'm happy to take a look. If you would like to get this opportunity to get a free audit, by all means, let me know and I'll do it. Otherwise, if you'd like me to coach you on how to do SEO or Google ads for your business for only $49 a month, go to learndominatemarketing.com. And if you'd like someone who actually knows what they're doing to do your SEO or Google ads, go to dominatemarketing.io, book a call with us there. Catch you on the next one.